Okay, good morning, everybody. So, last week we left off with me trying to figure out the colors of the grid. So, during this week, I've actually looked into it and I've discovered a couple of things. First thing is that the tiles, if you set a tile, the tile is initially locked, it has certain flags. So it has certain flags which causes actually the tile color to be locked. That's why if you set a tile, my code will be changed, of course. If you set a tile, then you will see, I set it twice, of course, once for the borders, once for the fill. If you set tile flags, I set tile flags to none. This is basically to unlock it. You can't really unlock only this one, but it's okay, doesn't really matter. You probably can, but then you have to figure out what the current tile flags are, get that, and remove that locked color tile flag. Just removing all flags is okay. And then if you set the color, then it works. There is one more caveat, and that is that what I did in the past, where I created a color inside of the for loop, also gave some weird results. In that sense, that there seems to be some optimization, or it seems a certain limit on how many colors it can actually hold. I don't know if you can increase it somewhere. I don't know what the limit actually is, and whether you can see it somewhere, but that's just the case. And I'm going to prove it to you. So this actually now works. I define the colors here in the start. That's fine. And this, where I select the color based on the X and Y coordinates, results in a pretty nice structure. Well, I'd say a pretty nice pattern of this. But if you would do the exact same thing, but for instance, you would move the colors here. And I haven't tested whether this really gives an error, but creating the colors, this probably will not create an error because this is using the colors of Unity itself. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Okay, my bad. So, if I do like in the past where I said I had a color equals new. Actually, I did not. Did I use a color in the past? I should have, huh? New color, and I create one color myself of x, y, 0, and 0. And then I have to do some magic because my x will be negative, so I have to do it absolute, and then 2 times 20, I think, because it will be it's going to be between 6 120, so no times 40. And I do the exact same for y. So this should create like gradients of reddish green. Red and green combined gives, what is red and green combined? Let's give. Good question. Okay, even this I did not expect. Well, how come there's no color at all? Am I correct? 6 times 40. How much is 6 times 40? Maybe I went too high. It's 240. No, that should be fine. 6 times 40 is 240. What do I see? The console, nothing in the console. So this is basically between 240 to 0 and then back. See, as you can see here. But in here, you don't seem to have any color at all, which is really weird. I mean, I can move the color up, but then of course I can't use a thingy anymore. I can as well, I can use random, I guess. Random. I have to look it up. I'm not sure if Unity has its own random. Yeah, Unity has its own random. It even has a random color. That's nice. Okay, so I can just do random dot color HSV, and then you have it's like U min maximum saturation minimum maximum. That's saturation minimum, saturation maximum. That's because you want full saturation always. Value min, value max. Why is that between a half and 1? I don't really know. It's also an example, so just leave it. But anyway, so this should create random colors. And what do we see? Actually, this generate random colors. Huh. Hey, what? Say again. I did read there was some limitation on the color. Aha, okay. That's probably why my colors don't work. Because the colors are not 255 there. Yeah, well, I times 40, you know. Divided by 6. Then they're between 0 and 1. Except that I have to make it a double, I guess. Or float, floats. Okay, so maybe my comment about the limited colors is not correct. And maybe just because I always assumed that it was between 0 and 1. But then why does this not work? I should have deleted the previous one. Yes, you will also see my code is a bit mixed up where I use the American or the British spelling combined. That's because that's completely normal for me to do. Random measurements, Unity union and system at random. Okay, then just using system random. Unity at random. Okay, it's still or whatever. So I'm really curious to know why my color fails. Oh wait, this should be 1. Okay, so that's why also we didn't see anything in the past. Which makes sense. Because I just set my alpha to completely transparent, which doesn't help. Okay, so And yes, this indeed works. Okay. So maybe let's ignore my comment about the limited amount of colors. There's, I did read that there would be a lot of limited colors. Something I observed, but that's probably because I messed something up with my colors. Because they should be between 0 and 1. Yeah, okay. Maybe it makes sense because it's a float. I mean, if it would be 255 based, then it should be integers, not float. Okay. Now, in my defense, this is something where something like a domain primitive, domain object comes into play, and this actually would have, or should have, thrown an exception, would have said like, what the hell, you can't create, like the components are out of scope. You can't create something with a value higher than 1. That doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't. So anyway, but I tested with these like the fixed colors, and that actually does work as well. So this now also works, random color works, so we have nice things. The thing you will notice, which is not very clear in here actually, it's not clear at all. Yeah, it's not very clear. I'm to prove it, maybe, or I'm gonna go for the random color to make it hopefully a bit more clearer. That setting the color on this position, I'm also confused as in why I have the position defined twice. Maybe that's also what's disturbing my current. I see. Okay. So why does this work? Because I was confused why it works. Well, it works because you can see the border is still red. Why does it work? Well, it just works because the tile here is on a different position. It is on y10, not on y0. If I would change this, and I would just also put it 0 on the z-axis, then you can see my color of my border also changed. It is all gray. Actually, it seems like there is no border. How come? Okay, so maybe this is because it just overwrites it. The system simply overwrites the border. So that means, well, you can't have two positions at the exact, you can't have two tiles at the exact same position. See, all the borders are grayish, that's just background color, so that doesn't work. My previous thing then apparently does seem to work. I'm gonna go back to audit math.apps x times math.apps y modulo 6. I think I actually can do it differently. I think I can do x times y modulo 6 and take one math apps of that. Maybe we'll see about that. Okay, this is definitely not how it should look like. X times y modulo 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. What was it before? I can check it. What did I have before? Plus. I had plus. Okay, that explains. Okay, so let's go back to the original one where I had a very nice checker pattern. Although I don't mind a random color either, but it's not gonna help us. So this is actually a bit skewed off. That's because I work with a six cell system, and I think, well, I'll do that later. I think I actually increased the my pattern to be here larger than or equals, so it actually does become symmetrical, which is nicer. I don't think, I'm not sure if that actually also makes it symmetrical in the top. It could. should maybe, but I don't know. Then to prove that it's exactly the same, I can just do x plus y modulo 6 and take math.abs of the whole thing. This should normally also work. No, because it's a plus, not times. With the times, it would have worked. With the plus, of course, it doesn't, because now you negate things, whatever. Negative number, positive number, that does not work. This will give a different type of pattern. Nice. Okay. But back to the normal one. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to completely revert this. And I'm going to see, because it could be that I've actually done more work. Nope, I didn't. Okay, so to make it more even, is newer. What happened? Don't save. Okay, weird. My editor did not update for some reason. So if I do this, for instance, then you will see that the checker pattern is much more symmetrical, which doesn't really matter. But it's just because of 6 times 2 is 12, and you don't really have a real center point. See, so this is a very nice checker pattern, I feel. And as long as I can get away with it, well, actually, if you think this is times 1, so maybe I might have to increase the size of everything. I definitely have to increase the size of the borders, because this is not you can't really see the border at this one, of course. So yeah, but okay, so it's weird, because I was pretty sure that on my other machine I actually did see that this would discolor. This also change color based on this one. I think there's a difference whether I put it before or after. Okay, but if it doesn't, then that's okay. I thought so. I actually thought I had to switch my tile map up. But then if it doesn't, it doesn't, and then that's fine, then I can use it as it is with the color. So apparently it does take the y-axis into account. 10 is also more in front. What if I do -10? Then it probably won't work, because it might overwrite it, I think. Actually, -10 is in front. I don't want it in front, I want it in the back. And as I said, honestly, it doesn't matter. I was thinking that I had to actually make it. I had to make 2 different time maps, and then the order probably would matter, because you would have to click. And yeah, that's important. Okay, but so now that we actually have the colors there, what I have to do is I have to change my... I remember why. Okay, yes, no, we do have to split it. Why? Because now I use here the border. I use the border's red color. I use cells white, but what I actually... No, I actually don't have to do it. I can do borders white. Then we're going to generate me white borders. And then if I say vector, because of course we want to have the color of the border, as in the color it should have, and then you have the color of the tile, the content is the color that it currently has. So I have border pos, because in this one even at 10 deep. This is the border position. And then I have to probably do the exact same thing. I have style map.set tile flags none. And then I have to set a color. Okay, yeah, not color white. for fun, I will change this to a times so we can clearly see the difference. It's interesting how it says that the parentheses can be removed. I actually don't think that's true because you remove them. Ah, no, maybe that is true. Maybe the times has priority over the. Yeah, it probably has. It will have priority. Interesting. Cannot convert from int to color. Of course not, because I do colors. This one. Okay. So now, if I will rerun this, then you should see that my border has a different color than red. That's one. Also different color, although sometimes maybe the same color as my fill content. And that's basically the core of the game then. Um, makes sense because I forgot to unlock the thingy. So that's why also in the past it didn't work, because you can clearly see if you don't unlock the flags, in this case I unlocked them at the wrong position, so it didn't really unlock the one for the border. It just doesn't do anything. It's just like, okay, thank you, but no thanks. Can I actually move? I'm trying to show, but can't really. You can't really tell the border on the bottom either, can you? What is going on there? Nor on the top. Oh, this is nice. iPhone 12. So that's how it looks on the iPhone 12. Well, in that case, then I don't think I can make my squares much bigger, can I? Well, I definitely have to make them bigger because I don't think anybody can actually click on those. I'll have to make much bigger chunks, so it's going to be more pixelated. But I definitely can go more horizontal, no? I also wasn't sure whether I want to actually have them. Ah, yes, of course. The problem with the 6 and 7 being is that it's not in the center anymore of the screen. Problematic. Anyway, that's not anything that really matters. Easy to fix. So, but as you can see, I mean, like you can't really clearly see the colors. I can definitely use more on the border, although maybe I want to use it a bit for something. I still have to see about layout, but this can definitely become more of a rectangular shape because that's how phones are. Phones are rectangular, annoyingly. This will limit me a bit in the images I can use, but we'll see about that. Okay. Okay. The borders are definitely messed up. I don't know how this is happening. Normally all four borders should be the same, but it seems as if the borders are not the same. There seems to be overlap between the borders as well. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Did I fix my borders? Maybe I did not fix my borders yet. Collider type. Okay, this one is grid, this one is sprite, but I don't think that actually matters. That's just probably something I did to mess up a bit. Then I have to probably check my tile palette. Did I already fix my borders, my size? Ah, yes, that's the conclusion we came to last time, that it actually likely is because my borders sprite editor is too small. Okay, As sprites, this is the resources, borders, sprites, borders, white, 256. Yeah, that seems correct. That's all fixed already. Okay, and the cells, they have the edge. Okay, so something I still have to fix, and I'm not sure. I don't think that actually is the cause, or I think that's the cause of what we are seeing now. That is that the edges, wow, they're very edgy, and if you zoom in enough, you should be able to really see them. But now it's just because of anti-aliasing. Was there not something I could do it for that effect? Compression none, apply, borders, here is compression none, apply, format, that I don't know. I'm not sure if that actually does anything. I would have to look it up what it means. Okay, but for instance, if I remove the bottom part here, then you would just see the borders, and then you can also clearly see that there is some, yeah, some weird things going on. Weird things, not weird, but you just have certain. Actually, it doesn't really seem weird now, does it? This seems to be perfectly making sense. Although you do have the edges missing. How come the edges are missing? It seems as if they overlap, and that's the problem. They seem to overlap, and they overwrite each other. What happens? I can see actually which one it is that's wrong if I do the exact same color on my. Wait, I'm going to do this. Leave the old one out there. Also, this is live debugging. Yeah? Oh, it's always fun. I do position. It could, of course, also just be that my initial statement of like you can't really do it like this is correct. Okay, if I look at it like this, then I actually don't see the border anymore. So that actually seems to kind of make sense, which is weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How is that possible? Okay, what if I go to plus? But then, of course, I have to do like this. This should be our well-known checker pattern. If I don't see the 4 edges, then I don't know how or what one I have to paint. I'm also thinking it might actually be better to just leave a gap in between them no matter what. I mean, you can definitely see the checker pattern, but you can also see that it's the top. Here is the top right that works. Top right, top right, top right, top right, top right, correct. Here it's only the top, and here is the left top. Left and top, left and top. And here is the same. It's only 2 of the 4 borders that actually make sense and actually seem to be visible, except for the center. And you can also see that the center is clearly clearly, um, that's probably why this is on the third order, bottom left. That's the thingy. Ah, yeah, so they do overlap. Okay, I think I found what it is. It is so they do overlap, and it's the bottom left also wins. I'm not sure why this then actually happens. I think my, I think it still happens because my tiles are too big, but that seems a bit weird. Let's see. I thought they were 256 by 256, so it seems like they are indeed being cut off, and then it's always the bottom left that gets sorted on top. If I switch this to bottom right, then I have to bottom right. Does that change the way it looks? In the meantime, I'm gonna look at my assets. I'm gonna look at my sprites, the borders. That didn't change anything. My white, so I can see how big it is. It is a 256 by 256. Open. Open with. What's it open now? No. So this does seem to be weird. Okay, so that's something to still investigate. Okay, my GIMP is open. That's good. So this doesn't matter. Bottom left mode chunk. What if I do individual? Doesn't make a difference. Nope. Okay. Interesting. I'm actually also very thinking of what actually happens if I say, for instance, to my borders, and I say, okay, cells, not cells, borders, white, and I say, well, technically it's not 256 pixels extrude units, but why does it say extrude edges? Maybe that could be a problem. Doesn't seem to be the case. Pivot center, that's okay. Yes, back mode, clamp, repeat, mirror, no. Max size 248. What if I increase it to 260 for instance, 260 pixels per unit, which is weird because I don't have 260 pixels on the thingy. Ooh I can do funky stuff with this. This doesn't do anything. Pivot, top left. Center. Back to center. Generate physics. I actually don't really need physics for this one, but okay. Yes, RGB color alpha. Yes. Reach right. Alpha is transparent. Generates mip maps. Wrap modes. Maybe I should come for U256. No compression. All this seems to be pretty good to me. I don't understand why it only shows one of the edges. That's weird because I mean it clearly does show it in here. I have nothing that overrides it, and still it doesn't show the actual. I really think it has to. The thing is, if I zoom in, if I zoom it like this, then I do get a similar effect. If I zoom in, then it actually seems to get better. In the game, it doesn't, however. If I zoom in here, it stays incorrect. And you can clearly see that there's an overlap between the edges. That could maybe just be because of he needs like anti-aliasing or something. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so that's something I will do for next time. I'm gonna write down. So something I will figure out by next time is to figure out why the edges are wrong. So fix borders. That's what I will do by next time. But for now, I think with the time we have left, let's focus on something useful. And I actually want to look into the scripting because now I actually want to start doing clicking actions. In here as well, you can see like what I mentioned earlier, like how come the bottom border actually is not visible? I think it's something to do with the rendering. It does indeed compress it. Because normally it doesn't matter, but in this case, my case, it does. So I will look it up whether I have to do some settings, play around with that, or whether I have to do something else. Yeah. Okay. No biggie, no problem. But so now I want to look at the clicking action. So what I want to do is I want to go here. Well, of course, I don't really care about update and frames because there's nothing really actively happening on my system. What I want though is I want to detect a click. I want to see if you click on something, it should detect it. And then of course now initially I would just change the color, but in the end you have different buttons here, or you should have different buttons for tools. And you can say I want to have a line, I want to have this, I want to have that, and then it should detect it as well. Now I just need to know what can I do in the scripting in case of a click. It shouldn't be too difficult. On mouse down you have. That's not too bad, huh? So you have void. Or you also then have on mouse down. Oh yeah, I also should fix my my formatter. Void on void of on mouse up. Although according to Unity, I see you do have on mouse down. Yeah. But that doesn't even do anything. I don't see anything in my debug run. Unity only has a simple use case. However, if you need a little more flexibility, you handle mouse clicks and using input might be more useful. If a mono behavior with an implementation of on mouse down is attached to a game object with a collider. This is a mono behavior. This is just my tile map. Does have a collider? Actually, doesn't have a collider, does it? Maybe I should just add a collider then. Does that make any sense? Not really to me, but hey. Okay, let's just delete it again because it's weird. How do I remove it? Remove component there. Okay. He does it always on get mouse position on update. It's technically not that bad because you probably want to show more information. If I click and I drag, then I do want to show, for instance, if I click and I drag my line, then I probably do want to show which ones are being painted. You don't want to have random or like some things where the user is not really aware of what happens. So that definitely could be a good use case. Okay, then I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to put in the update because this doesn't seem to work. And then you have, I'm just, okay, mouse position, get mouse position. If not, this is also not needed. And then the click I can do. Okay, actually, this one says mouse like this. Mouse equals mouse dot current. Mouse doesn't seem to exist. For which version is this information? 2022. It is the most modern one. Using Unity engine. Using Unity input system. So this is using input system. Input systems exist. Are you missing an assembly reference? Apparently you have to activate something. When using input system package, first make sure it's imported to the project. But I'm actually thinking maybe I should use a rule tile to make this path pieces snap automatically with on the packages. Use UI elements. Do I have that? Because yeah. Okay, why does this one does not exist? Get mouse position. This might be a very old one, 2020. In here it is input dot mouse position. Current mouse position clicks upon and read only input mouse position is effective. Oh, it's so interesting how they oh, you have so many different things, so many different ways that people say you should do something. Okay, but this just seems to see vector 3 int mouse. I do know there is something like JavaScript. There is something that says like what coordinates. It's a two-vector world. Oh, it was. What was it again? There was something to convert it from the world coordinates to your thingy coordinates. I assume. Ah, okay. I see why my get mouse position doesn't work because the guy actually created his own simple function for it, get mouse position. So yeah, he also uses input mouse position, and then he does the screen to world point That's what I was looking for. Not sure why he actually did put this in a separate function, separate method, because I definitely would have you know, I would have done this differently. And then you have to do it based on the grid. So I'm probably gonna have to save this, which he does as well. I'm actually confused why I can't use the tile map for it. I'm gonna see if I can use the tile map directly. Okay, and then I can say, okay, tile map dot. Then you have like a world to sell. And then I have, yeah, not this, I'm gonna delete this. It's bad. Not get mouse position. This is the vector 3 int into the cell position, I guess. Vector v. Okay, and then we're gonna see if this already looks something. It should. You can clearly see that every update is logging something. 13939. Okay, that's nice that it does that. Problem is that that doesn't seem to work. I think that's not what I was expecting, because based on that, I still don't know really which set it was. Path map. Where does it come this path map from? That actually is his style map. Okay, so he does also keep both. See, I mean, again, this is. So that's why I find it weird. He created the get mouse position, a separate function, but he didn't do this, for instance. This makes a lot of sense for me to abstract to say, like, if is left mouse button pressed. Left mouse button pressed. I will go to the system where you actually have to press and hold and drag. I'm actually not sure whether the mouse is actually going to work on a screen. I mean, mouse button? Mouse? How does that work on a touch screen? That's something I'll have to look into as well. Mouse. On touchscreen? Because I definitely need to get touchscreen. I need basically a press. I don't really care with left mouse button press, but I need to have a press, and I have to detect when it's pressed, and I have to detect when it less goes. I might also add grid equals get component grid. Not sure if this is actually possible because I don't really have a grid, do I? This is gonna completely be obfuscated by this, so I'm gonna move this into the pressed method. Now see, it doesn't find it, it only finds the, because I've attached to the tile map and not to the grid. Where did I press? There. And that's not correct because this is 0. We know from here that this is 0, 0, 1, whatever, and those kind of things. World to maybe local, not to cell. What's that problem? It's also a vector 3, not a vector 3 int. Convert to a local position. Then that's definitely not going to work. Because I need to have a vector 3 int. Sure, no, that's very similar. So the local is just, doesn't matter. There are, of course, other people who already fixed it. World to map. Tile map get cell. Get cell. Jesus. That was even the wrong engine. Great. Using this method to get a tile of the XY coordinate of a cell in the tile map. This is not going to work. Apparently you also have a different one. You can, I'm gonna see what this one is. Camera dot. This doesn't seem to work on my main. Dot screen. Screen to world point of mouse position. And this gives me a vector 3 as well. And that's the world position then. Let's log this as well. I might also see what it actually does if I do tile map dot get tile, and then I here say cell position. I don't expect this to work, but you never know. I can also do some math myself if I have to. By figuring out where the center is. There's a guy who says he also uses the grid, but then he also says, yeah, see, this is null. That's not decent. But this one actually does seem to work, the camera main screen to world points. I mean, like, it is -3, minus is 0, so this should be -6, -6. Which kind of is. I mean, this is exactly -6, I guess. This over bit. So this is minus. This does seem to work pretty well. Okay, and what he actually does is, so when he takes the mouse position, he says screen to world point, and then he uses the world position as input to the time up world to cell. Which makes sense because this is a screen position, this is a world position, and this is a cell position. That makes perfect sense to me. And of course, if I would have looked at the original post I found, I would have seen that his get mouse position does the exact same thing. He also does an input mouse position as a screen to world, and then he does the grid world to cell. I am not really paying very much attention, am I? And ta-da! We have, except that this is not loading. Why is it not showing my tile? Probably because it's collapsing with the tile from above here. Oh, that's really weird. So I click here, then it will log it. If I click, oh, if I first keep clicking and thinking, then it's messed up. Yes, it combines them. So, okay. So then now I can do like this, and then I can do. Oh yeah, this is nice. This is nice. So I can detect everything. I can do all of this. Mouse position, the world position, cell position. If get mouse button, yes, then it is clicked. I say left mouse button pressed, and it keeps doing it. It keeps loading it until I let go. So I will have to keep this in a state, that's for sure. Then I can, what can I say now? I can say tile map.set. Well, actually, is this gonna work? What if there is nothing there? Is there black or something? Oh. So now if I click, it will become black. Should become black. But I'm curious to know what actually is going to happen if I go outside of it. Is it going to crash? Or if I click here? Don't seem to do anything. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Satisfying. Ta-da! So we're actually painting. Next, what am I gonna do? I'm probably gonna have to work with a third layer. Am I not? How am I gonna show you which ones will be affected? I have to put some kind of layer on top, no? I already used the border to show which color it should be. I can't really use the same color. So it only makes sense that I have to put some layer on top of it with like an alpha to make it visible. Okay, so I don't need the grid. I can move grid. Grid's bad. I can use a time for it. I can say private and I can say boolean for like mouse pressed. That's false. Bool? Yes, bool. Okay. Mouse pressed. Mouse pressed equals true. And then well, do I actually need to know mouse pressed? Probably not. I say if. So here if I would say if mouse pressed and then not input get mouse button, I have to clean it up a bit then. What is this one? Input dot get mouse button down, of which then I can see whether the mouse button is down. Press the given mouse button. What's gets mouse button? It sends where the given mouse button is held down. returns true during the frame the user pressed the given mouse button. So this one will already, oh, this, no, I don't know. Curious. Input output, mouse button down, 0. Button down, and in this case I do behaviour.log button pressed. I'm going to see how these two methods compare. Okay, so nothing is being logged, that's good. If I click, button pressed, button down. Oh my god, yes. This keeps on being triggered, the button down only once. That's genius, it's much better actually. Button up. So that one actually is much better, because now I'm basically setting the color over and over and over and over and over and over again, which is really stupid. There's no need for me to always set the color. Genius. So what I can do is I can simply move this here. This I can delete. So this will actually give me the frame where the mouse button was down. Then I can say where the button was up. And I'm actually only going to go on the up where I set color. The mouse pressed, does that matter? It kind of does matter. Why? Because well, not the mouse press to keep track of it, but I have to keep track of the original of the button. Why? Because if I do this and then I do this, ta-da! Kind of painted the wrong one, didn't I? So this one will be great for lines, straight lines, diagonal lines. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do if you don't go in a straight diagonal line. Maybe just not allow it. We'll have to see. This will be the linear tool. Maybe there might be a rectangular tool. There probably would be a couple of tools, I guess. A circular tool will be very difficult. For now, I think I would just go for rectangles. And well, lines, I guess, are just lines are a flat rectangle. If I do this, then I have a rectangle which is just one big. So yes, okay. So I don't have to keep mouse pressed. I think what I can do is I can, instead of just saying mouse pressed, I can say vector 3 int, and that is the tile start. I have to come up with a better name. I really have to come up with a better name. So what happens if the mouse button goes down? Then I say tile start equals cell pos. If mouse goes up, well, and the tile start is not null. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe I should always do this. First thing I do, well, no, last thing I do, I guess, because here as well, like, what if I press here and I let go outside of it? Then I should cancel. If I press here and I go here, then it's nothing. So instead of cell pos, I now say tile start, and I say tile map dot set color. I'm gonna call it region or something like color region. Color region start. Color region start. Color region start. The color. I'm gonna call it coloring. The coloring start point. This is my coloring start point. Okay, and now this is the cell position. This is actually the cell position. Whatever this becomes my coloring endpoint in here. So here I click, I have my cell position, which could be null. I'm pretty sure this can be null, just to be certain. Well, it can be null. Why? Because if this is no, actually this would be a valid point, I think. I don't think this will ever cause to become null. I think it will just take a value which is not associated with a tile, because it's not really a tile. I have yes, this one here. Okay. So what is the case? The case is that if I click here and go here and I let go, then it logs 7 minus 1 0. See, so it's not null. The problem is that I actually should know whether there's a tile there or not, and otherwise I don't care. If I click here and let go here, I shouldn't do anything. Same here, if I click here and I let go here, I shouldn't do anything, which now it does, which is wrong. This should not do anything. But that's because it doesn't detect it. Because I take a look at the coloring start point, which is okay. From the tile map, we can't say set color of tile. We only have one set color, I guess, method. Set color. Set tile color. Native methods. No. Okay. But that's okay, yeah, because I can check it. I can check it. So instead of doing this, then I would check something like is valid tile or is valid tile position. I'm probably going to collapse these together into one, but for now it makes it a bit easier. And I see why I'm saying it for me to do this. And what is this going to be? This is your tile map dot get tile at position. Okay, voila. Okay, so then I press. If I press down, if I press outside, then it's not going to do anything. So I'm going to set it. That's good. Then I go inside. I let go. Then this will set this, which is wrong. So I should say if coloring start point not null. Then I should set the color, and then I say coloring start point is not gonna set to null. Of course, if I drag outside and I go inside, then I still have No, I don't have anything. I didn't initiate anything. If I go inside and I go outside, yes, this is still not okay. I'm gonna set both of them to cannot confirm anything because it's a non-nullable value. How do I create it nullable? Like this? Ha! Ha! Okay, nice. Okay, so it works, that kind of system. Pretty sure it's... Shouldn't this actually make sure this is not null? Okay, I don't know C sharp. C sharp nullable value types. We can apparently indeed say has a value, and then it doesn't seem to work. Why it is not detecting that it should work? Has value indicates with an instance value, has a type value with an unknown value gets the value of the type. So then I have to here just do value. Okay, maybe not the cleanest way to do it, but I guess it's the only way to do it in a decent programming language compared to in JavaScript, where they also have JavaScript or TypeScript, where they have these. I think it's actually TypeScript. I mean, in TypeScript you can rely on a lot of magic. So if I click, this will be set. If I let go, it colors it. That's still bad. If I click here, I let go, it doesn't color it. That makes sense. But if I click here, go there, bam, it colors both. It always colors both now. Of course, if I just click and let go, then it still only colors one, because it's the exact same tile. Which is maybe also not something I want. Maybe I'm like, well, should you want to ever color? Well, you can. You can just say click. Okay, so why is this? Because I say, okay, it has a starting point, but my current tile is not valid. So I should do if is valid type position samples. This requires cleanup. Definitely requires cleanup because I'm going to probably put this into a method and then I can break easily and I can return or break or return easily, and that's fine. So now if I do this, then normally it should only color something if the beginning and the end is a valid position, tile position, and that's it. And then it will also reset this. So this works, this works, this works, this does not work. Ah, yes, because my this one should be here. I don't care whether it's valid or not at the end, I just always have to reset it. Because I mean, that's the whole point of going outside. This is a bit annoying, I feel. But I guess that's how C Sharp works. Click, up, click, 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 click. Yes, okay. So you can kind of paint, being it that you're only painting two buttons. And also you can just paint wherever you want. It doesn't have to be an actual line. Well, technically 2 points always create a line. But I mean, not a straight line. And rectangle and stuff is not really working. That's the problem gonna be. Like if you do, you need two tools definitely: a rectangle, a line, and a rectangle. Because otherwise, how are you gonna define a rectangle if I do this? I don't know whether you want to do the line or whether you want to do the square. So I will have to select a tool. Okay. So what am I going to look up for next time? Next time I'm going to see if I can fix the borders. That's definitely something I have to do. I'm going to look up about the mouse input, whether the mouse, whether it actually also works for touch or not. I can't test that yet. I'm also curious to know actually how I can do this on my phone. That would help me a lot as well to double check everything works. I will clean up the code a bit, I guess. Yes, and I will do a formatter as well. So what am I going to do? Clean up code. And get formatter set up. So that's it for now. So we are definitely making progress on our fun little game. Yes. Naming rule values in this version must begin with an uppercase. Oh, I'm sorry. Who made that up? Why is this camel case? It's camel case, huh? Yes. So apparently in C# you follow camel case everywhere. Whereas in Java you have camel case for the classes and Pascal case for the methods, which is what I'm used to. Okay, so the grid, I might also have to change on the grid. I don't think this is gonna work very well for, that's what we've seen with phones. If you open simulator, you go on your phone. This seems a bit too small to me, honestly. So I might have to play around with it, but that's easier because I can just say set this to 2, set this to 2, that doesn't matter, and then your grid, your squares are much bigger. And then you can see you can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So then you have an 8 by 8 block, and I think that actually is also the biggest I can go. This is not 8 by 8, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 8 by 12. So 8 by 12 I feel is probably the biggest I can get away with. If you still have buttons here, 1, 2, 3, and then live, smooth, whatever, something up here, then I think this is probably the biggest I can get with. So I'll have to split my X and Y again. So this is definitely what it's gonna look like. Because yeah, this is, I mean, this might actually still be difficult to really get the touch working, but that's something I will have to see later on. Because you have to imagine your phone is being split up in 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 8 tiles. 6. I'm not sure that's going to be possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Might be doable. 8. Maybe we have to go a bit lower. Definitely don't think we have to go to 3, 3. That's crazy because then you only have six tiles. Maybe we'll have to go for 2.5. Which you have 3, 6. That's also 6. You know, well, you can get away with 7, I guess, if you cut them off a bit differently. Yes, but I think for now the 2 might be best to just get 7 tiles. I think it was 3, 6, no, 8 tiles. 8 tiles. 4 by 12. Yes. Okay, but so that's interesting thing to know. So that's maybe I will also Is that something we're really gonna do? I'm gonna split the X and Y of the grid. For the time being, I'm not gonna already do much regarding like really saying like, oh, this is gonna be this big, this is gonna be this big, whatever. I'm gonna just split it. Say okay, 6 the X grid size, in the X direction, grid size in the Y direction, or I can say columns and rows. Probably makes more sense. Although it's a coordinate system, we worked with X and Y, so X and Y is definitely useful, or good in here as well. So I'm going to split them up. I'm going to keep them 6, 6. So half 6, 6. Yeah, the grid size is also a bit weird because the grid size is 6, but actually it's twice the size. Because you have a minus to plus because of the 0, 0 being here in the center. That's perfectly fine. But so I'm just going to split them and say, okay, you have x and you have y, and I'm going to split them here as well. I'm going to leave them for now being, but then we can play on a bit later on where we say, okay, well, x, I'm going to make this big, y, I'm going to make this big. It's a bit easier than what we have now. Okay, and that will be it for today. I hope to see you again next week, where the game will take more and more shape. I feel like we're making good progress, so thank you all for joining. Bye.